So today we're going to try and see if we can make some apple turnovers. Success or fail, we'll find out. So let's get started. So we're going to take our apple that we've cut up, our 1 cup of apple, diced apple, and then we're going to do 1 tablespoon of sugar. And we're going to mix that around a little bit. And just let that sit for about 15 minutes. Let all that sugar just get absorbed into the apples. We have our oven preheating to 400 degrees. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our egg wash mixture ready. So we're going to put 1 egg, and then we're gonna do a tablespoon of water in here. Okay. And just mix that together. And that's gonna be our egg wash. Okay. Now we're going to have some fun playing with our puff pastry. Okay, so we need to get a little bit of flour on our counter. And our hands. I'm just using Pepperidge Farm puff pastry. I have not been using puff pastry that much. So this is still kind of new to me. Okay. All right. The recipe says that we want to do 5-inch circles. All right, so I have found a bowl that's 5 inches in diameter, and I'm going to put that down on my puff pastry and just give a nice little cut. Gently so I don't cut my countertop, but enough that I'm cutting my pastry. And we should be able to get 2 of these out of each sheet. Okay. And again, make sure that you're preheating your oven right now. So we have 1. I'm going to work with that in just a minute, but let's go ahead and cut out our second one. I would recommend go ahead and cutting out all of your pastry first, and then you can do your apple mixture. Okay, here's our second one. Because the puff pastry gets a little bit sticky, so you certainly don't want it sticking to your countertop. And what I did was take it straight out of the freezer and let it sit on my counter for about 30 minutes, just to give it enough of a chance to thaw a little bit, but not to get sticky. All right, now we have our 4th one cut out. Okay, and I'm just going to put this extra pastry. We may use that in just a minute. All right, and the next thing I want to do is I have a cookie sheet with some wax paper on it. I'm going to take 1 of my circles and it says to put about 1/4 of a cup of the apple mixture in. I'm going to put that right in the middle. Okay, that looks like about 1/4 of a cup to me. You can measure that if you want to. Okay, and we're going to brush the edges with our egg mixture. And that's just going to help it stick closed. Okay. Now we're going to close this over. Just make sure your apple doesn't fall out. And crimp these edges. Okay. We're going to use our fork for that. Just Just give them a nice little crimp because you don't want it to open when it's baking. Okay, and that'll hold all the nice juices in and everything. And then we need to cut 3 slits to give room for venting, the steam to come out. So, all right, now we're going to put some egg mixture on the top. Make it nice and brown. And we're going to put a little bit of sugar on the top of that. Okay. And there we go. And on to the next one. So we're going to slide her up there and go on to our next one. So we're going to put a little bit of apple in the middle of that. And put our egg wash around the edges so that she'll close really well. Okay, and we're going to close that. Crimp that a little bit with our fingers and then use the fork. Sorry if you can hear in the background, my husband's actually cutting grass outside, so it might be a little bit noisy. Now we're gonna put some egg wash on the top. Okay, and then we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of sugar again on the top. Okay, and we're just gonna rinse and repeat. Try not to forget, like I just did, you gotta put your slits in the top so that it'll vent out. Okay, all right. And I think what I wanna do is I'm gonna take some of this extra dough, because there was quite a bit of this. Let's see if maybe I can use a little bit of this. It seems like a bit of a waste. I don't really like wasting in the kitchen if I can help it. And we're gonna put these in the oven for about 20 minutes and wait until they get nice and golden brown, and then I'll bring them out and show you what they look like. There they are. Aren't they beautiful? These are the apple turnovers that I made today, and they look really fantastic. They puffed up beautifully. That puff pastry did fantastic. I just pulled them out of the oven, so I'm gonna let them cool for a minute or two on the cookie sheet, and then I'm gonna take them off and then let them cool, and we'll cut into them and see how beautiful they are. I did want to show you another trick though. You see how I made these bigger ones out of the leftover dough? You want to try and do that whenever you're making something that you might be taking somewhere. That way you can try the kind of extra one to make sure it tastes good, because you always want to know before you go serving this to guests. So I've let them cool a little bit. Puff pastry did really, really well. But I was going to show you, like I said earlier, when you have really pretty pastries that you want to give to someone or you want to serve at a meal, but you want to make sure that they taste good, here's some of the leftover dough that I used. And my goodness, it swelled up really, really good. So we could kind of use this one as our taste tester. I'll show you the bottom. It definitely did nice browning up, and then there's your beautiful apples inside. Let's see how it tastes. I'll take a smaller bite. That's really wonderful. It's nice and flaky and sugary and sweet, but not too overly sweet, so it would make a great breakfast item. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will continue to make awesome bakes like this for you. Have a great day. I did want to let you know that this puff pastry I used comes in sheets. Don't get the ones that are in little shells or any other forms. You want one that's in sheets, and it's usually in the freezer section of the grocery stores. Not all grocery stores, but some of them, but it'll be in the freezer section.